Real quick before we get started, I want to let you know that Yarn Love hoodies are available in my shop until the end of this month only. That's February 2020. They're currently available in sizes small through 4XL in gray and pink. Visit the link in the description or right here on your screen to order one before they're gone. All right, now on with the tutorial. The Catherine wheel stitch is a reversible stitch, making it great for projects like blankets, scarves, and clothing. Definitely a stash busting stitch, but totally worth the extra yarn for a project you really want to wow someone with. I'll show you how to work it in rows next. You can use a variety of yarn weights and textures for this stitch, but for the design to really pop, go with a smooth yarn or something that has just a tiny bit of texture, like this Mary Maxim Woodlands yarn I'll be demonstrating with today. This stitch pattern has a multiple of 8 plus 2, which means your foundation chain number needs to be divisible by 8, and then you just have to add 2 chains to the end of that. Now in our swatch, I'll chain 32, which 8 divides evenly into, and then I'll add 2 more for that plus 2 aspect, and that gives us a total of 34 chains. Row 1 is a setup row that's not included in the row repeat you'll hear me talk about later. Make a single crochet in the second chain from the hook, and here's where the row repeat begins. You'll skip 3 chains and make 9 double crochets in the next chain. Now I found this looks best if you use the back bump of the chain, so I'm flipping it over because the stretching from 9 stitches is less obvious when you work the 9 stitches here. Next, skip 3 more chains and single crochet in the next. And continue with that. Skip 3 chains, 9 double crochets in the next, and so on with your row 1 repeat. So at the end of the row, you should have 4 chains remaining coming off of a group of 9 double crochets. You'll skip 3 of those and make a single crochet in the last chain. Now chain 3 and turn your work. This stitch has a 4-row repeat, which means from here on out, you'll work the same 4 rows in sequence over and over until your project is the length you want. Row 2 is the first of those 4 rows. You'll also work a sort of cluster stitch throughout much of this pattern. We're going to start off with a smaller cluster here. So beginning with the next stitch, cluster the next 4. The way you do that is to yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, and then do that for the next 3 stitches. Then yarn over and pull through all the loops on your hook to finish the cluster. Okay, so here's where the repeat for row 2 begins. Chain 3 and single crochet in the next stitch. Then chain 3 again, and cluster the next 9 stitches together. So the same as you saw before, only instead of working 4 stitches, we're working 9 stitches. You'll have a lot of loops on your hook. then chain 3, single crochet in the next stitch, and so on with your repeat. Now at the end of the row, after you've worked your single crochet, chain 3, and then cluster the last 5 stitches together. To finish the row, you'll chain 3 and turn. Here we are on row 3. Make 4 double crochets in the loop that closed that last cluster. This is where your row repeat begins for row 3. You'll single crochet in the next single crochet, then make 9 double crochet stitches in the loop that closed the next cluster. And you'll repeat that to the end of your row. When you get there, make 5 double crochets in your third chain. Then you'll chain 1 and turn to finish it off. A little side note here, this stitch pattern is really great for projects that incorporate different colors, whether it be different colors of yarn or whether you're using a color transitioning yarn. So I want to show you how to change colors within the project, within your row, as we move into row 4. To get this type of look, you'll change colors on your even rows. This is a very traditional way of changing colors, but of course, the sky's the limit. When you get to the point where you want to change colors or add a new ball of yarn even, you'll work your last stitch to the point where you have just one motion left, a yarn over and pull through 2. Make a slip knot with your new color, place it on your hook, and pull through to finish the stitch. That's really all there is to it. Now, since I'm coming off my third row here, I need to chain 1 and turn to set myself up to start row 4. I've just sort of taken a little back step to show you how to change colors. All right, moving on to row 4, single crochet in the same stitch as your chain 1. And the repeat for row 4 begins here. Chain 3 and cluster the next 9 stitches together. Chain 3 again, and single crochet in the next stitch. By the way, I have these instructions spelled out for you on my website. Just visit the link in the description below. At the end of the row, chain 3 and single crochet in the turning chain from your previous row. This is a chain 1. It's a little hard to find, but if you look really closely, you'll see sort of the back end of that chain. Just work your hook where you can get it and make your single crochet there. Then chain 1 and turn. Now for row 5, the last row in our 4-row repeat that makes up this entire stitch pattern, single crochet in the same space as your chain 1, and now your row repeat starts here. Make 9 double crochets in the loop that closed your 9 double crochet cluster. then single crochet in the next single crochet. Now at the end of this row, after your 9 double crochets, you'll single crochet in the last stitch. Those are the basics for how to work the Catherine wheel stitch, the 4-row repeat, how to change colors, and all of that good stuff. So to continue your project, what you'll need to do is repeat rows 2 through 5 until it's the length that you want. When you want to end the project, stop after an even row to get a flat edge that matches the other side. Now this is one of those stitches that benefits from a good blocking, especially if you crochet naturally really tight like I do. It kind of gets a little bumpy and lumpy. What I've done here is run it under some water, kind of got it sort of saturated, stretch it out, pin it out, and then let it dry completely. Now don't tune out, there's a really cool aspect to this stitch that I want to share with you. So I've showed you the traditional way of working the Catherine wheel stitch, but if you work your even rows in the back loops of those stitches, it creates a really cool defining ridge that when you incorporate it into a full project, it looks like scales. It's kind of an alternative to a crocodile stitch, which you would normally use for a project for great texture that looks like scales. I think this is a slightly easier way to accomplish a very similar look. So I'm currently working on a scarf pattern that uses this variety of Catherine wheel stitch with mandala yarn. It'll be a free pattern on my website, of course, but if you're watching this soon after it publishes in February of 2020, if you want to sign up for my email newsletter, I'll send you an email when this pattern is available. So I'll have the link to where you can sign up for that newsletter in the description below, but if you're watching this well after it was originally published, this pattern is probably already available on my website, and when it is, I will include that in the description below as well. Now let me know if you're interested in seeing this particular stitch worked in the round, because if it'll be helpful, I'll gladly film a video for that too. Tell me that in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe for progress, and I'll see you in the next one.